Hi and welcome to Lifelong Learning. This little video will be my introduction to this series, which I'm hoping will run for years and years and years. I'm calling it Lifelong Learning because it's one of those catchphrases of educators to let people know you're never too old to learn, that learning is the best way to keep you young and enthusiastic, and to maintain the plasticity of your brain, apparently. Now, it just so happens that I myself am very, very old, so it's very appropriate, I think, that I should be presenting a program called Lifelong Learning. And as I'm hoping that it will run for at least 30 years, this will become more and more appropriate as I become more and more ancient and decrepit, so I think I'm onto a winner there. So, what's the purpose of this program? Well, in recent years, in my dotage, I've become very interested in knowledge, in finding things out, and also thinking about how we know things. Not in a philosophical way, but in a naive, childlike way. A sense of wonder, often confusion, sometimes excitement, and sometimes skepticism. And maybe this is philosophy, I don't know. It seems to me that as I get older, I become almost panic-stricken about how little I know about anything, as if I've wasted my life, or as if I haven't sufficiently explored and exercised this amazing thing I have inside my head. There's a funny story told about Pliny the Elder, a great Roman intellectual, who had a servant follow him around all day, reading to him from works of natural history, the science of the time, so that when he was in his bath, sitting at the toilet, or at the dinner table, none of his time would be wasted. He'd be absorbing information during every waking hour. How he'd have loved the modern world of podcasting. Of course, this is based on the notion of the brain as a great big bucket which you can pour contents into until it's full up and you know everything. But the brain doesn't work that way. And Pliny would have been well aware of that. He would have known that memory is unreliable, that we forget more than we retain, and so on. But I can certainly sympathize with his hunger for more knowledge, perhaps in the hope that it would all somehow connect together in his mind. Incidentally, Pliny, Jupiter bless him, was exactly my age when he died, overcome, so it's said, by the fumes of Vesuvius, on the same day that it buried Pompeii under its lava and ash. Now, where was I? Knowledge. I don't have a scientific background, but I do think that science is the way to knowledge, at least the knowledge I'm interested in. To me, science is whatever generates reliable knowledge about the world. That's it. Nothing weird or mysterious about it. I read a philosopher who said there's no such thing as the scientific method, and I agree. There's nothing you can point to or write down or put into a formula and say, there's the scientific method. I think of science as using an open-ended set of methodologies, each one more beautiful than the other, for arriving at reliable knowledge. They generally involve a lot of prior knowledge, a fair degree of creativity, and a balance of open-mindedness and skepticism. Now, I think I understand the Darwin-Wallace theory of natural selection. I can't say that I fully understand Einstein's theory of relativity, but I know enough about it to be pretty sure that the methods Einstein used to arrive at his theory have pretty well nothing in common with the methods of Darwin and Wallace. In fact, I'd say that even Darwin and Wallace arrived at much the same theory using different methods, according to their different natures and experience. That's the beauty and creativity of science. So, I want to celebrate science and its achievements from my lay perspective, very much in the spirit of Bill Bryson in his wonderful book, A Short History of Nearly Everything, which, by the way, I haven't read, but I know it'll be wonderful because I've read the first 50 pages and they were thoroughly stimulating. And I immediately identify with Bryson when, in the beginning of this book, he recalls a textbook diagram from his school days which cut through the inner layers of the Earth, and the text told him that the inner core was made of molten nickel and iron at a temperature something like the surface of the Sun, and he asked himself, how did they know that? And still asks himself, as I do, how do they know that light travels at about 300,000 kilometers per second? How do they know that Proxima Centauri, the nearest star to us apart from the Sun, is 4.24 light years away? How do they know? Well, it's not really a mystery. And I'm hoping, as maybe old Pliny did, that it'll all come together in my mind one day, with a bit of work. And that's what this program is for. Anyway, that's my introduction to the Lifelong Learning series. I hope it hasn't been incoherent. And I'm hoping that one day, if I get rich or I meet someone who's a techno-wizard with a bit of time on their hands, that I'll be able to make these videos more active and interactive maybe. Not just me sitting in front of a screen. But that's for the future. Meanwhile, I hope you tune into my first proper lifelong learning video, which will be about the brain of the dolphin. See you then.